Surprise! I figured this. Everybody's got enough on their plate and enough in their head after this year for December. So I'll start putting the extendeds on Vimeo in January. But for this month, it's my holiday gift to you. Cool, huh? Hi, Fire Signs, and welcome to the extended for December 2020. I'm not going to go through what I said already in terms of the individual lines, because that's already been done. However, we can start with how the lines work together, the yin and the yang. Lines work together. And then consider the overall umbrella that's provided by the blended energies line right here. So notice, if you will, that the lines here, in terms of these individual lines, when they start to work together, they can work in all different kinds of geometric ways. They can work vertically, but also they can work diagonally. And the idea is that for those who are crafty and strategic-minded, you can strategize ways to emphasize your strengths, the areas where your flexibility is enhanced instead of stymied or blocked, etc. To be empowered, to use empowerment as your byline, and be comfortable with the way that you can fluctuate, the way that you could flow, the way you can bend, blend, yield, take, give, all the things that contribute to a finely crafted, finely tuned machine. So, hearkening back to the reading itself, I was talking about the star card for the yin line representing a degree of wholeness already achieved. I don't get the sense that you need to go there like you've never been there. You've been there, and you are what you are now. You did what you needed to do to get there. There's no sense in going backwards. But now we take a look at the Seven of Cups as it can work together in this column of energy, right? So certainly the yin, the nurturing element, I talked about this cup in the center as being something that wants to be birthed into its new manifestation, and the wherewithal of the star card being comfortable in her skin, which she obviously is, contributing to the birthing itself, becoming somewhat of a resource for the yang line to go forward, to move with the trend of energy through these lines individually. And so how does it work? I mean, look at it, when you start to look at it this way, look at the strength here that is brought, because being comfortable in her skin could come over here, and there could be some uncertainty. There could be some newness to the endeavor. Some places where there's not so much comfort that comes from experience. New territory. And here walks in the amazing power, grounded power of Strength card. Taking the influence from on high, bringing it to earth, and being totally comfortable with that anchor of confidence that comes from having one hand grasping that power in heaven, one hand grasping that power on earth, and then start to function. And then when we walk into the last element, what came from the endeavors here of that sharing lends itself so easily, with such a flow, to the leadership of the yin line, complementing the feeling of stability with the Four of Pentacles, with the purpose, if you'll recall, we talked about in the other reading, the sense that there's a step to take. And that step to take wants to be going into an unknown world. But to then have, like the king, I got your back for taking that step. It's powerful. There's a lot to be said for it. And not because there isn't not a whole lot of major arcana cards here. The fact that they're not here is actually a nod in your direction as a team of your abilities. You got them, you got the major arcana where they're needed. But you already have so much else that you know, and maybe you are already adept to a certain degree in working with the universe, working with that handshake with the divine. Okay, let's talk about the overall influence. How does it umbrella all this? Well, despite the fact that it looks somewhat dark and somewhat, in the nether regions here, in fact, it's asking you from an overall standpoint to find the light within. Find that golden light that is within us, as white light, as light that doesn't look like light out in the world. It looks different. And here's the different look card, the moon. So you're introduced right away into that world of, okay, your journey together here incorporates the adventure of finding the light within. Look, you got the moon here. You got the moon here. So this adventure wants to be the secretive one, the one where, let's say, you can hearken back to times when you and friends, or you and your brother or sister, found yourself in the same bedroom at night. Maybe you were visiting somewhere and you taught, or they were a friend, and you, like in literature, the expression, we talked until dawn. So that you talk in the night. Did you have a bad time when you talked until dawn? Hell no. And the reason you didn't have a bad time is evidenced by the fact that you talked all night. You found territory. You found places to explore where your eyes were covered from. There was no light per se from light bulbs or sources of light out in the world. The light came from inside. That's the kind of light that wants to shine here. So let's say we just burn through these for a sec, so that the highlights, the background is what I just talked about. Now let's burn a little bit. So you want to go on an adventure that takes you to the pathway that's lit by the moon, the inner world. You are going to encounter the gatekeeper, the death card, who's going to do no more than say, you want to come into this territory? You can't bring that with you, and you can't bring that with you. And death is pointing to things that are your baggage. You can't bring it with you in order to go on this journey. Boom. But then you drop it and you walk into the realm of the high priestess, who said, okay, you're down to your bare bones. You're down to the place where you need to be to hear what I've got to say. What I've got to say. And what does she say? She said, this is the world of mystery. This is the world of the secret knowledge that when you get it, you have it forever. And is what feeds you in ways that the food of the earth might not feed you always the same way. But my food that I show you in the world of mystery will always be there. There's your fire signs. You'll realize your fire through her, through that world of mystery. And then she's going to introduce you, and she ends her little story, her part of this tale, by saying, and now I want to show you the anteroom, the place where you will reside for a short time before you go back to what you called your normal life. And that room has a place for you to hang yourself upside down and to take one final dip into that world of contemplating the place you are. Why did you get here? Because you made the choices to move forward up here. And so it was you that put yourself here. And so by going there, all she is doing is saying, take a minute before you go willy-nilly back into the rat race, back into that world where things are so fast and furious that sometimes you lose your head and sometimes you lose your heart, and don't do it yet. Take that minute and remember. Instill in your heart your true connection with why you're doing this. And you're doing it because you're going, and then this image, this visualization comes into your view screen and says, you're doing it so that you can be in the world card. You're not going to be ultimately in the Hanged Man card. You're only going to use the Hanged Man card so you can see for a moment where you really are going to be. In the world of perfect balance, in the world of the world card. And that is where I leave it for this moment. In December 2020, the 21st of December 2020 is where you're headed, should you choose to go there and do it with a proactive, setting your intentions type of approach. And I believe in you. I know you're going to be great with it. and I appreciate you being here. I can't tell you how much it means to me that you've decided to join me for these few minutes, and I want to wish you the best path possible for your world, your setting of your intentions, your December 21st, and the rest of this 2020 year. Thank you. Love you all. Take care. Goodbye.